Welcome to the Windsor Wednesday show. And for this week, we have a special edition of the Windsor Wednesday show where we're celebrating Alumni Week. So it is Alumni Week. It's time for the University of Windsor and the alumni family to really celebrate all the different things that we do have at the University of Windsor and to reconnect with some of our great alumni community. And today I have three fantastic guests joining the show, and I can't wait to give you a brief introduction to them. Each of the guests on the show today are also, they're all U Windsor alumni, but they're also recipients of an alumni award. So we'll discuss that in just a second here. But to kick things off, we do have Mike Bates down in the bottom left. Mike Bates has a Bachelor of Human Kinetics, where he graduated in the class of 95, and then also completed his MBA during 2004. And this year, he is the Alumni Ambassador Award recipient. So Mike, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, and I'm looking forward to our conversation. And then we also have down below Peter Nybaur. So Peter graduated from Windsor Law in 1973, and this year he is the Alumni Award recipient for the Merit Award. So pleasure to have you on the show today, Peter. And up at the very top right, we have Stacy Robert-Tobin. So to give you a little bit background of Stacy, Stacy completed her Bachelor of Arts in 2006, and then also a Master's of Education in 2014. And this year, she is the recipient of the Odyssey Award. So pleasure to have you on the show today, Stacy. So to kick things off, and for those watching, if you're looking for more information about Alumni Week, I definitely encourage you to check out the link on screen. Find the whole schedule, all the different great events that are happening at uWindsor at uwindsor.ca/alumni week. So definitely recommend checking that out. So to get started, as you all know, and I've mentioned, they're all Alumni Award recipients. So tell us how you felt when you first received the news that you were going to receive an award from the Alumni Association. Stacy, we'll have you go ahead first.
Sure. Well, certainly shocked. I was definitely shocked and honored as well. I think for the most part, most people don't do things because they feel like they're going to be recognized for them. You do them because you have a passion for what you do and you have the conviction to do it. But certainly to know that somebody went out of their way to nominate me and, did the paperwork for that. And then to know that the association took the time to go through all of these applications and then select me was very, very special. And yeah, it just made me feel very proud.
Yes, definitely. And for those watching who don't know, Stacy's been doing incredible things in the community, especially with her experience with the Canadian Border Services Agency, where she was the first female firearms instructor in Canada, in all of Canada, in 2009.
One of
the first. And she now teaches at St. Clair College as an instructor, and she's actually teaching right now. So she's continues to be involved in the community. So thank you for sharing, Stacy.
Thank you.
Mike, we'll have you go ahead next. What did it feel like when you received this award and this news?
I just echo what Stacy said. I mean, it's a great honor. The university has played a big role in my life and continues to play a big role in my life. And I'd like to think I'll get involved because it's important to me, and I think we can make a difference. So it's an honor. I'm going to continue to stay involved, and awards are just something extra. But it's definitely an honor. It was a great surprise. But the university has meant a lot to myself and my family. My wife's a graduate as well. So, yeah, I'm just very proud to be, University of Windsor graduate and still be involved.
Yes, and Mike definitely still continues to get involved. For those watching, he does teach part-time in the Department of Kinesiology at the University of Windsor, and then a bunch of other notable things. He's currently the owner of Refined Fitness Studio, and then also co-author of a best-selling textbook on health fitness management, and a few other books and manuals as well. So he continues to use what he learned at U Windsor, and he's now providing that knowledge to students. So we do appreciate that, Mike.
Thank you.
So Peter, what did it feel like when you received the Alumni Award of Merit?
Well, I was surprised even to be considered. And it's not like I was the first man on the moon or anything like that. It was kind of surprising, and but I'm humbled, and I'm not a humbling type of guy. But I was very grateful for this recognition. I've always felt that the university is like a family to me. It's part of the reason why we moved back to Windsor from the 30 years plus we spent in the GTA area. So I am very happy to be recognized.
Excellent. And we do appreciate it. And for those watching who don't know, Peter and his wife, Diane, they actually created an advanced production and design lab that's housed in the University of Windsor. And what this lab has been doing, especially during COVID-19, it's providing a bunch of different medical supplies and ventilators for healthcare workers. So it's great that you've put something tangible into the University of Windsor, and you've come back and you're helping students, especially you're even helping during a pandemic. And I imagine, Peter, it's something that you didn't even know you would be doing.
No, not at all. That's for sure.
So we appreciate that, and congratulations on the award. It's definitely well received. So to jump in our next question here, I want everyone to kind of think back and reflect on your Windsor memories. Stacy, what was one of your favorite memories when you were studying on campus?
Honestly, to pick one memory is really difficult for me. It really is, because there's just I did 2 undergrads there, a master's. I feel like I've been there for basically I have been there for half my life. So to pick one memory is difficult. But I would say for me, it's more of a culmination of memories that resulted in like a feeling of home. And certainly the lifelong friendships that I've made, definitely the time that I spent at the Faculty of Education, the professors that I had. To be specific, Dr. Bailey, who has since retired, was a superior mentor for me in education, and just a wonderful human. And so I think back to those times, and I just think of them so fondly, and it has such a great place in my heart, the time I spent at the university.
That's great to hear, and I'm great to hear the impact that it's had on you. What would you say were some of the highlights of your experience?
Definitely getting to do the practical side of teaching, because of course, when you think that you want to do something, you don't really know what it's like until you actually immerse yourself in it. And probably also just learning that, at least initially, I wasn't as organized as I thought I was. And once you go through teachers college, especially once you get through your master's, you go from being organized to extremely organized. It probably drives my husband nuts how organized I am now, but I love it, and it's really helped me with so many facets of my life. So that's definitely a highlight.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing, Stacy. Mike, share a Windsor memory that you've experienced.
Do you just want one, Lyndon? Because I could share quite a few. You might have to put your hand up to tell me to stop, because the Faculty of Human Kinetics played just a massive role in my life. I mean, so let's start with going into a field that I was passionate about with 2 of my best friends from high school, who went through Human Kinetics with me. It was just something we always wanted to do. So we got into the program. I ran track for the first 2 years. And that opened my eyes up to a whole other world. We won the Canadian Championship that first year. I did not even qualify for the Canadian Championship, and I was a good, or at least I thought I was a good athlete. But to run with some of the best athletes in the history of track at the University of Windsor, and run for Dennis Sparrow was an amazing experience. I met my wife in 2nd semester of 1st year, so that obviously is a big deal. The professors in human kinetics, human kinetics has a really unique family to it, because we take most of our classes, for sure in your first couple years, you take them all together. So absolutely built lifelong friendships that still to this day, I talk to people regularly. So that was great. I got exposed to the fitness industry, which I've been in my entire life, essentially because I got involved with Human Kinetics Society, which is the student government. And while I was involved with student government, someone asked me one day, "Hey, Mike, have you ever thought about working at a gym?" And it may sound obvious, but that wasn't even on my radar in human kinetics. And I said, yeah, sounds neat. So I got a job working part-time at Good Life Fitness. And when I graduated, I moved to Toronto and managed a club there. And and ended up being my lifelong passion. I have my own facility. So, I mean, I could go on and on. It just, it's really, and as I've gotten older, I appreciate it even more now. So there's a long-winded answer.
No, that's fantastic, Mike. And how come you decided to return to the University of Windsor to teach part-time?
Oh gosh, it's what I always wanted to do. I really, in university, I wanted to teach, but I also had a passion for having my own business, and those are two things that are tough to get to go together. So I was lucky enough to get asked to apply for a position by Dr. Jim Weiss, who taught me in undergrad, and he was the dean after I graduated. So again, there's a relationship that had I not, placed some importance on that, that wouldn't even happen. So I was asked, and I consider myself lucky to be able to do that. In my mind, I've got the best of both worlds. I really do. So.
Well, I can imagine many students do appreciate you bringing your life experience and your work experience back into the classroom and fulfilling that knowledge on students. Definitely appreciated, Mike. Thanks for sharing. So, Peter, thinking back to your time at Windsor, what was a favorite memory that stuck out to you?
Lyndon, I'm going to answer this a little differently, and it's because the most memorable experience I had at the university actually happened 7 years after I graduated. And that is because way back in 1980, I received this card. Now, I don't know if you can see it very well. It has the university center on it. And it was dated July 1980. It said, "Dear Mr. Nybaur, on behalf of the Alumni Association, University of Windsor, I send you heartiest congratulations on your recent appointment as," and it went on, "and I wish you health and continued success in the future." It was signed by a John Sharp, Director of Alumni Relations. And when I received that, I was really, really surprised because here was a university that was keeping in touch with its former grads, obviously before electronic record keeping and algorithms and whatever else tools that the alumni uses now to keep track of its grads. And probably just looking at the business sections of an appointment notices in the Globe and Mail or the Financial Post. I can't remember where this was because I was fortunate in my career to have a number of these type of appointments throughout the different corporations that I worked for. And I would never have had that career had it not been for what I picked up here at this university, the tools that they gave me to go forward in that regard. And so I remember when I received that I said to myself, you know what, if they haven't forgotten about me, I'm not going to forget about the university. And so when time was available for me, and as my career sort of settled down, I was able to join the Alumni Association, helped in fundraising at the GTA with colleagues like Ken Alexander. Bill Wright got me into the association itself on the board. And with the support of my wife, we donated that aforementioned lab and other things to the engineering school. But that's success of mine, and I had a wonderful career. Still not quite finished yet. At my age, and still poking along. But because of that career, I was able to remember the university and give back. And I think it's I say kudos to the Alumni Association back then and today to keep in touch with the grads and allow them to remember how they got to where they are, and hopefully they'll remember the university back and give back tenfold. That's what I'm hoping for.
Wow, Peter, that's such an amazing story, and I'm so yes, I'm glad that you you kept that postcard handy. Do you think just that letter that you received kind of sparked some new ideas for you and how you could give back? Was that like the main touch point?
No question.
Started.
Yeah, Lyndon, there was no question to that. A simple thing like that, and it was so impressive because I came from undergrad at the University of Toronto, and with no disrespect to them, it's a huge institution. They wouldn't know whether you lived or died, or as I said earlier, you went to the moon. You know, it's just, but here it's different. You know, maybe it's because it's a smaller university. And to me, that made a big impression, and that's why I've kept it. And I promised myself that I would return that thank you or that recognition in some way, form, or another.
Wow, that's that amazing story. Thanks for sharing, Peter. To go into one of our last questions of today, it's why are you UN proud? We talk about this on every Windsor Wednesday show, and we're going to talk about it again on the Alumni Week show. Stacy, I'll have you go ahead.
You did cut out, but I think you were asking what makes us Windsor proud.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. So for me, it's what made me most proud was being able to complete my education locally. And, you know, I was thinking about what am I most proud about? Well, this is for a very personal reason, because from the time I've been very young, actually just before I was ready to graduate from high school, my mother became very ill. And initially I had intentions to go off for a completely different program, completely different reason. I was going to go to New York and I was going to an acting school, and my mom became incredibly ill and I became her primary caregiver. So of course at that time, you know, you're very close to graduating, everything's up in the air. I'm dealing with all of these emotions with my mom being so ill and not knowing what's going to happen. And knowing that I could go to the University of Windsor to complete my education without having to worry about, you know, the cost of everything and traveling and living abroad, because that was no longer an option, was very, very comforting to me. And it remained very comforting when I went back to do my master's, because I continued to act as a caregiver for my mom. And those same thoughts came up again. And to know that I could complete my education and get a very good education while doing so meant a great deal to me.
Thank you, Stacy. That was great, and I'm so glad it was something that you could kind of lean on and something close to home for you, especially when you're studying and things like that do happen. So I appreciate you sharing that. Mike, why would you say you're UN proud, being a student that graduated and now being a faculty member?
So I think I'd say three things. The education, without a doubt, has played a massive role in my career and my personal growth. There's no doubt about that. And for people who are listening to this, and I know that the knock against universities sometimes is, well, I didn't really need that. It's not specific to the real world. Well, I would say, what are you doing to make that happen? You know what? Because it's on you as the learner. To a large extent, you're in charge of your path. And if you don't know how it's related to what you want to do down the road, then you need to ask questions. So for me, it played a massive role in my career and professional development. The relationships that I made from professors and students both, to this day, still play a massive role in my life. And I'm not even talking about my two best friends or my wife. There's lots of other relationships with professors and students that I met at the university that I still have relationships with, either have done business with, or just have developed different kinds of relationships with. So that's been really important. And the last one is I'm super proud of the role that the university plays in the community. It's played a massive role in lots of aspects of the city of Windsor, and I believe it will continue to do that. So those would be my reasons why I'm Windsor proud.
And they're fantastic reasons. Thank you for sharing, Mike. So Peter, graduating, being a part of the alumni board, and also being a philanthropist that gave back to the University of Windsor, what makes you proud?
You know what really makes me proud is I'm fortunate that I'm on an endowment committee with two other colleagues through the business school. And when we see the applications coming in for grants under that endowment, I'm so happy to see the breadth and depth of applicants in terms of what they've accomplished, not just within the academic sphere within the university, but outside, where they get involved in all sorts of social related programs related to the community in general. Many of these people are, I'm guessing, either first generation or here in Canada, or maybe they just arrived. They're still testing the waters here with, in as far as this country is concerned. And I'm just pleased with what we've been able to do, because let's face it, that youth is what is the future of our country. And I'm pleased to see how the university attracts that kind of individual. We see it everywhere. I see it in the engineering school when I'm there for their annual, I was going to call it the cornerstone. It's when they show their projects. Something stone in it. I just escapes me right now. But yeah, that's what makes me proud of this university, what it's been able to do in terms of attracting young people to give them a foot up on their career, and hopefully they'll have a very successful one.
Thank you, Peter. That's definitely an interesting perspective, being on the endowment group that handles all of that. And to kind of conclude today, for those watching, I do appreciate your time and connecting with us. And for the alumni that did join the show, thank you for being here. Thank you for all you do to make the University of Windsor even better, coming back and connecting with us and building our university. For those watching, the Alumni Association does present several awards throughout the year to students, alumni, faculty members in the community to really recognize personal achievements they've made and how they've contributed positively to our community. So I do recommend that you do check out the website. It's uwindsor.ca/alumni for more information. We all know somebody that we could nominate for an alumni award, so please check that out. There's so many great people in the community that have graduated or are attending the University of Windsor that we really want to give that recognition to and highlight. So for those watching, happy Alumni Week. Thank you for the guests for being here, and we'll see you next week.